Something unexpected is happening in America's kitchens, farmers markets, and school cafeterias. It's not just about what we eat, but who controls the narrative around our food, our health, and the future of our children. In recent years, a new movement has emerged, reshaping the food landscape of the United States. It's not driven by celebrity chefs or Silicon Valley startups, but by a growing group of highly motivated, deeply traditional, and unapologetically conservative mothers. They call themselves the MAHA Moms, short for Mothers Against Harmful Agriculture. And their mission is nothing less than a revolution in how food is grown, distributed, and consumed across the nation. But what sets the MAHA Moms apart is not just their activism. It's the lens through which they see the food system. For them, this is not merely a health or sustainability issue. It's a fight for family, faith, and freedom. In their view, America's food supply has been hijacked by globalist corporations, government overreach, and left-wing ideologies pushing synthetic meat, GMOs, and questionable science. They argue that the push for lab-grown alternatives and ultra-processed meals isn't just bad for the body. It's part of a broader agenda to weaken families, undermine self-reliance, and disconnect Americans from their traditional values. This movement may sound fringe to some, but it's gaining real traction. With thousands of followers across social media, MAHA Moms have sparked boycotts, lobbied state legislatures, and influenced school lunch programs. Their grassroots campaigns are rallying support not only among rural families, but also suburban parents concerned about food safety, medical freedom, and the erosion of parental rights. They see themselves as the last line of defense against what they perceive as a coordinated effort to control how future generations eat and think. To understand this surge, we need to look at the broader cultural and political forces fueling it. In many ways, the MAHA Moms are part of a wider backlash against what conservatives call the woke agenda. They're skeptical of the USDA, wary of anything approved by the experts, and disillusioned with a food system they believe favors profit over people. They view big agriculture and big government as two sides of the same coin, both promoting harmful chemicals, artificial ingredients, and dietary guidelines that don't reflect real science or real family values. This skepticism isn't entirely unfounded. Over the years, controversies over glyphosate in crops, hormone use in livestock, and the lobbying power of agrochemical giants have eroded public trust in food institutions. Add to that the COVID-19 pandemic, during which fears over supply chain breakdowns, school closures, and forced dietary regulations ignited a renewed interest in food independence. For the MAHA Moms, the pandemic wasn't just a crisis, it was a wake-up call. Many began homeschooling their kids, starting backyard gardens, joining local co-ops, and cutting processed food from their homes entirely. They started asking, if I can't trust the system to keep my children healthy, who can I trust? Their answer, increasingly, is themselves and God. Faith plays a central role in the MAHA Moms movement. They view stewardship of the body as a spiritual duty and reject what they call the secular science that devalues traditional wisdom. Their messaging often blends biblical references with nutritional advice, arguing that God designed food to be natural, nourishing, and abundant, not something to be engineered in a lab or monopolized by multinational corporations. The result is a kind of food-focused activism that blurs the lines between faith, politics, and personal responsibility. MAHA Moms host Bible-based nutrition classes, organize real food revival rallies, and create viral content promoting raw milk, heritage livestock breeds, and ancestral diets. Many openly criticize school nutrition guidelines and the inclusion of plant-based meats in public cafeterias, calling them government propaganda meals. They support local farmers who reject USDA certification in favor of old-fashioned, pesticide-free growing methods. For them, organic isn't just a label, it's a lifestyle rooted in liberty. Their critics argue that this movement oversimplifies complex nutritional issues and promotes pseudoscience. Some say that MAHA Moms demonize advances in agricultural technology that have made food more affordable and accessible for millions. Others accuse them of spreading conspiracy theories, cherry-picking data, and creating an us versus them mentality that politicizes food in a dangerous way. But for the MAHA moms, this isn't about politics. It's about protection. Protection of their kids, their communities, and the sacred values they believe America was built on. As with any grassroots movement, there are internal tensions. Some MAHA moms focus on hyperlocal solutions, community gardens, church-led food banks, barter systems, while others push for sweeping legislative reform. There are debates over the role of technology. Is AI in farming a threat or a tool? Should they support regenerative agriculture if it's promoted by progressives? And how do they collaborate with others who share their concerns about the food system, but don't share their political or religious views? Despite these differences, what unites the MAHA moms is a shared belief that the mainstream food narrative is broken, and that fixing it requires going back to basics. This means reviving traditional cooking skills, reading ingredient labels with a critical eye, and rejecting the notion that convenience trumps quality. They teach their children how to knead bread, ferment vegetables, raise chickens, and identify healing herbs. They host workshops on seed, saving, and sustainable canning. They prioritize food literacy as much as reading and math. In doing so, they're not just feeding their families, they're building a counterculture. This counterculture is increasingly organized. Some MAHA moms are running for school boards to challenge food curriculum. Others are partnering with conservative think tanks to publish alternative dietary guidelines. A few are even launching their own food brands, offering homemade bone broth, pasture-raised meat subscriptions, and grain-free baked goods designed to reflect their values. These ventures often double as platforms for activism, with packaging that carries messages about food freedom, bodily autonomy, and biblical stewardship. So, as debates over climate-friendly diets, lab-grown meats, and agricultural subsidies rage on, expect the voices of these moms to grow louder. They will continue to ask uncomfortable questions. Who really benefits from food tech? What's the long-term impact of synthetic ingredients? Why are parents losing control over what their children are fed in schools? The MAHA moms believe that the answers lie not in government panels or biotech labs, but in their faith, their communities, and their kitchens. In a world full of shifting trends and confusing advice, their message is simple: eat real food, know where it comes from, and never give up control over your family's health. Thank you for watching. If this documentary opened your eyes to a side of the food revolution you hadn't considered, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with others who care about where their food comes from. Join the conversation, because the future of America's food isn't just political. It's deeply personal.